Hello everybody, and welcome to High School Romance Magi Trials. Now, been a while since I played the last High School Romance. It's been about a month, maybe, I think, since I uploaded the final episode. Kind of been working a lot on World of Warcraft, and I'm finally glad that yesterday this game came out. I didn't get the chance to get it yesterday, but I got it today. Now, I'm not sure how the video quality is going to be. From what I've read, I've been using Razer Cortex as my recording software for the last few weeks. What I've read is that when the Gamecaster, which is the recording software in it, if it doesn't show up, then it means that it's not compatible with the game yet and it needs to be looked into. So, for the time being, I'm probably just going to record it on Overwolf like I used to with the old one. And without further ado, I'm going to get in, and this is going to be completely blind for me this time around. So, I'm going to enjoy it with you guys completely this time. Alright, so our guy is named Shaun. By hoof and claw and tooth of minx. With heart of griffin and mind of sphinx. Alright, hold on. This is really... There, that's a little bit better. Now I can actually read it without having to spend like a minute waiting for it to show up. Alright, so by hoof and claw and tooth of minx. With heart of griffin and mind of sphinx. The tower falls, the clock it chimes. Bury the past, let this power be mine. Let this power be mine. Let this... Each motion of my hand draws the light through the air, magic surging forward from my core. It seeps through my arms, tingles in the tips of my fingers, and bleeds outward. Is it? Alright, so I'm going to... Sorry, I'm just checking the time here, that way I know what I'm doing, because, since I don't have my Gamecaster, I don't actually have a timer up. So I'm kind of having to check on my phone here. So I'm gonna give this about 40 minutes for my first episode, I'd say, just because it's such a unique game to me. Like, well, not unique, but it's such a special game in my opinion to me. Like, it's the very first game that I put on my series other than Town of Salem, which that wasn't even really that much of a game. That was just something to do real quick. But yeah, I'm gonna get back into this. Sorry. Wells within me like a shadow, dark and static, as it lifts each hair along my arms and the back of my neck. The pages beneath my hand flutter and send plumes of dust into the growing light. Arcane energy rises in me, and an entity of its own, something hungry and wild howling through my being. A wind that shakes my very bones. I've never felt anything like it. It's working. It's actually working. But the beast rages against me, against my control, as the light begins to dance. I'm not doing this. The light's blinding, vivid. It's too strong. I can't control it. My hands shake. My last thread of restraint begins to snap as it tears through me. It's too strong. And I died. Miss? Miss, are you alright? A persistent tapping nudges my shoulder. What? Get up, please. You aren't allowed to sleep in here. More to the point, you really aren't allowed to be in here at all unless you have the right permission. These are private grounds. My head is killing me. Have I been drinking? Where am I? And who the hell is this old guy? Don't forget your things. He saddles me with a bag across my shoulder like I'm a pack mule. Come along now. My feet move, one in front of the other, even as my eyes drift. Okay, I might be hungover. Try not to look hungover. You're a heavy sleeper, aren't you? I have to say, I felt a little guilty waking you, but better I find you than someone else. They might not be so lenient. Lenient? For now, this is our little secret. No need to get the guard involved if you ask me. He punctuates his good-natured laugh with friendly pat on the shoulder. Blinding light spills into my eyes as he opens a door with a creaky shadow of magic. Sorry. I'm a little tired. Have a good day, child, and find better places to sleep. Oh, damn, it's like the sun is pissing in my eyes. That's an interesting analogy. I squint at him as he shuffles off back inside the building. Huh? Weird. I guess he was a mage. Mage. My trial. Oh god, I'm probably late. Did the spell work? A thousand thoughts break through my mind at once. The word mage, the single flake of snow that set off an avalanche in my head. Above the city stands the academy, a proud building, ornate and ancient. Now, I do just want to say, honestly, this kind of plays into a little bit, not entirely, but, the idea of World of Warcraft and stuff like that. Like, it's not, I'm not saying that this is related to World of Warcraft, but I'm saying, like, you know, being that it's magic and stuff like that, there's related topics, like most role-playing games would have, such as Dragon Age, World of Warcraft, RuneScape. Yeah, well, I mean, RuneScape kind of was. Rift, stuff like that. One of the firm pillars of the capital city, a proving ground for those who would pursue a magical career. And that, I'm not sure, I can't remember if you guys are able to see my mouse cursor in this, but, this here, it actually kind of reminds me of, Dalaran in World of Warcraft. It's like the floating crystals. One of the firm pillars of the capital city, yada yada yada. The career I want. Push myself in that direction, my legs feeling weak. I have to get there. Can't miss this. I can't. Run through the early morning streets, dodging people along the way. None of this would have been necessary if they just accepted me when I showed up. 3 days I've waited around for a trial, an actual trial with a real mage or Magi. I thought just proving I could harness magic would guarantee me a place just to learn, but I was also stupid. Doubt nags at the back of my mind. Of course they wouldn't accept just anyone. It's the most prestigious magic school in the kingdom. And if I thought I was good enough by my own merit, would I have done what I did last night? Would I have broken into the sorcerer's archives just to try to make myself stronger? It's not cheating, it's just being determined. What if I didn't pass? What if they sent me home as a failure? I couldn't risk that, I couldn't. My feet pound against the cobblestone, the building growing impossibly larger the closer I get. Please don't let me be late. On top of everything else that's happened, barrier after barrier, I feel the magic sliding over my skin as I run past. The last barrier between me and my entrance exam, the large doors stand closed and unmanned. These were open the last time I was here. I pull on the thick handle, but the door holds resolutely, its weight shuddering against my best attempts. Let me in. The knocker is heavy as I rap it against the door. I blink a few times before I notice that letters appearing before my very eyes. The words appear to etch themselves into the door itself. You have business here. Enter. Oh, of course, it was just magicked. Of course, I definitely knew that. I give a confident tug on the door, which stays stuck and nearly rips my arm off with it. Now, also, I just want to say, like, this, it sort of has the feel of, the old high school romance, but obviously it's a little bit more, I don't want to say it, I don't know how to word this quite, like, it's more mystical, like, there's magic and things like that. Are you kidding me? I'd love to enter, jerk off. Let me in. Slam my palm against the wood. or I try. Instead, I go stumbling into thin air, falling over my feet with all the grace of a hobbled cow. I fall straight through the door. He's trying to pull a damn push door. What a moron. And slide right onto my face against a rug that feels like it was made from boar hair. Ha 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 ha. Ow. Oh, I see. That burns. My face is on fire. My face is literally on fire. I massage my cheeks. Even the tears stinging in my eyes would be a relief. Wait a second. Scramble to my feet, realizing exactly where I am. Any important sorcerers around? Mages? No? The foyer is vast and empty. The school's massive structure shrouded in a heavy silence. Only the hum of magic buzzes on the edge of my awareness. Whew. Good, no one saw that. I clear my throat, seeming to have lost my voice, probably from still being so groggy. Actually, there's a perfectly good explanation for all this. I should be sharper than this. How am I going to pass the entrance test and become an initiate if I can't even handle the damn door? Also, I am noticing it. My sound in the game keeps cutting out, like the music. I really hope it's not doing that for you guys. Trying to gather my wits, my eyes are drawn to a large clock on the wall. Good, I still have a little time. Pick up the bag I dropped and toss it over my shoulder again. I need to find somewhere to change. I can't show up in my night clothes. Wandering down a hallway, I try to keep my sense of direction. The building isn't just large, but convoluted in design, built to twist the senses around for those who aren't equipped to navigate it. I've heard enough stories of this place to know. Let's not think about my odds of finding a bathroom in this place. I'd use a closet or something if I could tell which of these doors were closets. Ugh, please. And then, miracle of miracles, I see the standard open entryway of a bathroom, a generic male symbol by the door. Another boy leaves, giving me a long stare as I walk past him. I nod to him as pleasantly as I can manage. I bet I have carpet burn on my frickin' face. And I shouldn't be running around here in my night clothes. This is the kind of impression I'm going to give my peers. Toss my bag onto the counter and then glance up into the mirror. Ah. Yep. Also, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but why of all places the touch first? Why did he have to do that? My hand clamps over my own mouth, muffling the horrible high-pitched sound that comes out of it. What? My own shocked face stares back at me, but it's not mine. I touch my cheek, rises to touch my face. Stare down at my palms, my chest, my thighs. Either I just now developed self-awareness after 17 years of being alive, or something is really, really wrong. Maybe it's the mirror, a prank. I glance down at my own chest again. My chest now the opposite of flat and ruining my brief moment of insane hope. But why is this happening? Why? The spell. The realization hits me like a brick. My new knees threaten to sway right out from under me. Oh no. I knew I lost control of it, but I just thought it didn't work. Didn't realize. How did I not realize? Still gaping at my own reflection, I pat myself down in shock. It feels so real. And he's still holding on. My unhelpful minds informs me that it's because it is real. Okay, so obviously not the best in grammar, but still. Stealing a furtive glance around, I cut my chest and give them a little bounce for science. Whoa. No, don't get distracted. I have to fix this. I screw up my face in determination and am completely underwhelmed when nothing comes to mind. My trial. It's all I can think about. Okay, not all, but it's ranking pretty high at the moment. I just want to say, how does he not notice this until he's actually there? If I don't show up, there's no way I'll get admitted to the academy. Staring at my face, set on a body. Canny. The trial has to come before everything, even this. But they're expecting a Shaun to show up, not a Sophie. Okay, I can fix this. Less panic, more action. I wrangle my new body into my clothes after doing a little inspection of things I'm not used to. Oh, that doesn't feel right. Whatever, ignore it. It'll have to do. This doesn't look convincing at all. I pull out the string that closes the waistband of my nightclothes and tie my hair up in it. I could pull this off, right? Just act like this is how long you like to keep your hair. And who can blame a guy for having a tiny waist? Maybe I'm a vegetarian or something. They don't know. In fact, they'd be rude to ask. My mouth twitches into a frown, my poorly constructed confidence crumbling easily. This is what you get for trying to cheat. Oh, whatever. I've gotta go. Nervousness claws at my stomach as I make my way back to the main foyer. As if things weren't hard enough already. I try to think past the fog of confusion clouding out my mind, completely thrown off balance by all this. The trial is meant to take place in an arena within the school, an actual arena. My pulse picks up a faster beat at the thought. But of course it's happening in an arena. Where else would it happen? A back alley? Mocking my nerves doesn't do anything to actually quiet them. Now where did they say it was again? I follow the instructions that have been given to me, moving through the quiet hallways and toward the arena, ignoring the pulse in my throat. The room is empty and dark. Am I in the right place? I step inside, staring across the expanse, of the stadium. The darkness is still unnaturally bright for how few torches line the walls. Where my sight should fail and fade into darkness, I can see clear across the room. I wonder if this is where... Shaun. I spin around on my heel. The figure of a woman darkens the doorway, silhouetted by the halo of light at her back. She steps closer, long and confident strides, bringing her into view. I catch myself staring before I remember to bow. Who is she? I almost forgot my manners, hastily coming up with something to say. Thank you for meeting with me. The words come out as a mumble as I try to keep my voice deep and pray she doesn't ask me too many questions. She returns the bow. I am Magi... God, I don't know. I assume probably just wants to be Megan. Megan Shira, a representative and teacher at this academy. I will be the one conducting your trial of initiation. A bead of sweat rolls down the back of my neck. I try to look as if I know exactly what that is, as if I've prepared for it my whole life. And didn't just take some magic lessons from a crazy old mage who wandered through town and smelled a little like mold. The trial is a trial by combat. I will warn you not to underestimate me simply because I'm a woman. You wouldn't be the first to make that mistake. Do I not look nervous enough for her liking? Does she want me to pee my pants too? Your objective isn't to defeat me. What sort of Magi would I be if that could happen? She smiles, the first human-like expression she's made since walking into the room, but her voice remains stiff. It's like she's speaking out of a manual. Then I realize how many times she's probably given these same instructions. But you will be expected to defend yourself. Though it's not your objective, you are allowed to attack. Any hits you manage to land against me will be taken into consideration in your favor. I won't hold it against you. If anything, I'd be very impressed. Do you have any questions? My thoughts are blank, empty. Even if I had questions, I wouldn't know what they are. I shake my head. Very well, then shall we begin? The Magi steps further into the room. She moves delicately, each measured step taking her in a semicircle around me. Also, something I do like, when they're speaking, it actually shows their name, and when they aren't, it just shows kind of like stage directions. I'm like her prey. I summon my will and my power into my hands, feeling the hot energy crackle between my fingertips. Simple defensive stuff, that's all I have to do. She stares me down, her face remarkably impassive, yet intent gleams in her eyes. I dig my heels under the ground, preparing myself for what's to come. With the lightning, quick motions of her hand summon a blast of power with remarkable speed. Defend. Try to throw together a quick defensive spell as the light blinds me. Don't even get it fully summoned. The spell hits me squarely in the chest full force. It knocks the breath right out of my lungs and my feet leave the ground, sending me spinning. Ow. So that didn't work. My head throbs lamely. Gentle hand touches my shoulders, rousing me up from my crumbled state on the hard ground. Maybe I was a little overzealous. When I open my eyes, my chin is tilted toward my chest, giving me a clear view of my ripped outer jacket and shirt, revealing far too much. Oh no. I jolt awake, my hand scrambling to cover myself up. Are you alright? I'm fine. It's a relief. For a moment, I thought I may have seriously injured you. Here. With kinder motions than I would have expected from her, she guides me up into a sitting position. I'm glad you're unharmed. So the only question that remains is, who are you? What? I was told I would be testing a young man named Shaun, who wished to become an initiate here. So who are you? I am Shaun. She peers at me closely, some of that strict that face. Some of that strict authoritarian gleam entering her eyes again. This one does seem a little bit more comical this time. I will give you one chance to recant that, but it is true. I have to tell her. She's not going to believe me otherwise. If I haven't already ruined my chances, that certainly will. I take a steadying breath. I really am Shaun, Magi, Shira, but this isn't how I usually look. I was trying to utilize the spell when it must have backfired, and I gesture helplessly to myself. Yeah, eloquent. Her eyes never lose their investigative gleam, picking over me until I'm starting to get red in the face. And when did you conduct the spell? Last night. Thin eyebrow arches in my direction, spreading skepticism across her face. And what was the intention of this spell? She already knows, doesn't she? At this point, I think I might be on the verge of getting arrested rather than admitted. My voice diminishes in my throat, sound extra pathetic with its new pitch. I first learned magic from a traveling mage, ma'am. He said I should promise. He said I could pursue that here. I thought there was no way I would match up to the city mages who had grown up around this sort of magic, who had learned it all their lives. So I tried to magnify my power with the help of books. And what books would have shown you this? A terse sigh leaves her lips, which have pursued into a thinner and thinner line throughout my explanation. It doesn't matter. However, you laid eyes on such a spell is irrelevant. God. It's just as illegal that you performed it. Illegal? Yes. Only those who have passed the trial of sorcery may practice such a spell. Even I couldn't do so legally, much less one who has never even gained entrance into the academy. The magic is meant for sorcerers, only the most elite of magic users. Do you understand what that means? That I'm going to prison? To my surprise, her eyes soften. If I'm not mistaken, she almost laughs. Though conventional, that seems a bit extreme, I would think. It means that only 5 people alive at this very moment may legally perform that spell. Why do you think that's so? Because people running around accidentally changing genders all the time would get confusing? She opens her mouth and then closes it again, blinking at me. I wish I could learn that skill. Just close my damn mouth for once. But it's not my fault. I blabber when I'm nervous. Well, I suppose you're right. But it's also because that spell is dangerous. You must indeed be talented if you survived it at all. Most would not. Though you're still foolish in the ways of magic, if you thought consulting such a spell the eve before this trial was wise. You not only had this unfortunate side effect, but you must have surely exhausted yourself. Controlling that amount of magic and preventing it from tearing you apart, despite a lack of formal training. She shakes her head, and though she isn't a woman who looks easily bewildered, I tend to have that effect on people. It is impressive. Stupid, very, very stupid, but impressive. Oh. I didn't think I was doing anything particularly risky at the time. If anything, I thought it was kind of clever. How embarrassing. I nearly got myself killed before I even made it to my trial. Here. She helps pull me to my feet. I'll keep your secret. Ambition is a prerequisite for the path you've chosen. I'm sure you know that. I can't fault you for having it. But you did not pass the test, and I'm sure you realize. My jaw twitches at the observation, fighting down the urge to plead and beg. Defending yourself is a fundamental part of practicing magic, even as an initiate in the academy. It is not a light study or a hobby. It is a practice that will take your life if you're not prepared. Though we do what we can, there will always be those who are wounded or even killed in the Magi Wars, the Academy's test for graduation. She nods. Those who pass become Magi, and the strongest and most ambitious may then take the trial of sorcerers. Is that something you had your sights on? I nod reluctantly, now that the dream has already been snatched from my grip. We've lost many brilliant students to that trial. No one has survived it in 18 years. It's claimed each one. Well, maybe you need a different trial. She scoffs but nods. It does seem a reasonable solution, doesn't it? But the sorcerer's trial is a test of ability that a sorcerer must be able to call upon at any moment. 5 live now, guarding the borders of our kingdom. We only have peace because they do not. They must be the best of the best. We cannot afford anything less. It's not a test we will put just anyone through. We must have hope that they can truly pass it. And I didn't even make the cut to be an initiate, much less a sorcerer. She hesitates for a moment, and then, in a gesture that takes me by surprise, she rests a hand on my shoulder. It's not a great comfort, but I see a brief flicker of sympathy in her eyes. I have to keep myself composed. I can't lose it in front of her. Hold it together, Shaun. It was a stupid test anyway. I clear my throat as best I can, swallowing down bitter disappointment and childhood dreams along with it. So, something I noticed, it's kind of a repeated theme here, that there's one person, kind of a teacher, in a way, that knows about the character, like why they're there, and that they're actually a boy at the beginning. I guess I'm now officially a drama queen after all. Speaking of, what about... I made a vague gesture to the self that's not myself. That is a far more complex problem. We may yet find a solution for it, but any immediate counter spells would likely be reserved for sorcerers. It will take an equally strong magic to reserve the damage outright. My stomach sinks. How did this day fall apart so quickly? I broke the law, I turned myself into a girl, and the worst part of it, I didn't even pass the exam. That was the reason for all of it. And if this was the price I had to pay to get it, I even would have paid it. Yeah. Feeling an embarrassing well of emotion starting to rise up in me, I bowed hastily. I have to get out of here before I make this even worse. I see. Thank you for seeing me, Magi Shira. I feel her eyes on my back as I leave, grabbing my bag from beside the door on my way out. I can't believe this. I really didn't make it. How do I even go back home? What do I even go home to? My whole life had revolved around this. Not to mention, last time I was there, I wasn't a girl. So preoccupied with my failure, that little problem keeps slipping my mind. Most people would probably be concerned with that first and foremost, but this was everything to me. Miss, stop. Miss, I look around for a moment. Oh, right, he's talking to me. Who is this? Sir? You're the young lady who just had a trial with Magi Shira. Is he asking me, or just making a bored observation? Yes? Does he know what I did? Did she lie and turn me in already? But then why is he acting like I'm a girl? He sighs so bitterly I can't help but wonder what I did to him. She had requested that you wait. Stay here and don't touch anything. With that, he returns to leave again. Who was that? Not sure what's going on. I pace aimlessly in the hallway. Maybe Shira thought of a way she can help with my little predicament. At least I can get something out of this failure, maybe. I glance down at my chest. Though I was kind of hoping to take these things for a spin. Footsteps snapped me out of my thoughts. After considering your case, I consulted with Master Mage Orman about the possibility of taking on an apprentice. An apprentice? You did not pass the entire entry requirements, but given the circumstances, I believe that could be changed with practice. It's not uncommon for Magi to take on apprentices to hone their skills and ready them for the entrance exam here. Particularly you. Is this the Master Mage? The man gives me such a dark look, I think the light in the room changes. No, this is Mage Warren, a fellow teacher of mine. and a far more practical one. Shira is too fond of taking in strays who have no chance. No chance. He doesn't know anything about it. Shira cuts me off before I can get myself prematurely expelled from an academy I hadn't even gotten into yet. And Mage Warren is too fond of immersing himself in conversations that have nothing to do with him. Shouldn't you be off failing your students somewhere? They both seem so strict, even with each other. Are all teachers like that here? Despite being of equal rank, Mage Warren merely bristles at the remark. His scrutinizing stare eyes me down again before he sweeps off into the darkness of the academy. I apologize for that. Mage Warren does not take on as many students as I do, and clearly has some opinions. And he fails most of them. I would say roughly half of the students may expect to pass, but his record is far better than mine. Doubt pulls in the pit of my stomach. As you can see, Warren does not believe very much in chances. I, however, do. But not everyone will aspire to earning that chance. Very few are cut out for this school. Many students I take on are, like yourself, disadvantaged from the start. Warren is more comfortable with teaching magically gifted children from well-off families who may have had personal tutors by the time they were 5. And even then, his passing rate is still only 50-50. He nods grimly. No, she nods grimly. God. For their safety, yes, we refuse to foster delusions of grandeur here. You're getting a late start, but you're far from the first. And given what we know, I believe you have... I'm not saying this to be sentimental, it is merely a matter of fact. She keeps trying to emphasize how dangerous this is, how impossible. That only makes me want it all the more. Every assertion that I can't do, it only sparks a flame insisting that I can, that I have to. I accept. I practically blurt the words, but they clearly don't come out as a surprise. Shira only nods. I thought that might be the case. As for your current condition, that should remain between us, I think, to avoid any trouble. Present yourself as a girl while in the school. Master Mage Orman believes your name is Sophie. It should stay that way for the foreseeable future. But how do I figure it out? That is your name from now on. Understand, Sophie? Ugh. Well, yes, I understand. Also, I love how... Hold on, if I can... I don't know if I can do like I used to. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. Okay. Can't go back like I used to, I think. But it actually said Shaun and / Sophie at first. Yes, I understand. Good. I cannot always be there to hold your hand through this. Oh, actually, wait, I can go back. Here. It showed Shaun / Sophie. I cannot always be there to hold your hand through this. Magic I can instruct you in, but your social life is your own way to deal with. I close my gaping mouth and nod. I don't want to give her any reason to second-guess her decision to mentor me. But Sophie? That's my name now? It doesn't seem real. So caught up in my thoughts, I don't realize Magi Shira is leaving without me. Apprentices aren't allowed in the main area of the academy. Are you coming? Yes. I scrambled to catch up with her. I'll show you to the apprentice wing. You'll wear a female school uniform for now, which will be in your room. I'm glad she's walking at a brisk pace ahead of me, her heels clacking against the floor. She doesn't see all the blood rapidly leaving my face. This is the apprentice library. Everything here consists basic spells and rituals that make up the foundation of magic. There are the spells that are safe for you to use and practice with good... Oh, these are the spells that are safe for you to use and practice with good sense, of course. She gives me a knowing look that makes me shrink a little further into my coat. If there's a spell to become an insignificantly speck of guilt, I could have probably cast it perfectly. Huh. This way. This is what amounts to a classroom for apprentices. Naturally, there will be more emphasis on practical learning rather than sitting in a desk all day. I'll mentor you and Charlie here. Charlie? Who's he? She is my other apprentice at the moment. She? Great, I'm a guy with a girl's name and she's a girl with a guy's name. This isn't going to get confusing at all. You'll both get a second attempt at the test, but that's all. Make good use of your time here. Yes, ma'am. And what's your name again? Sophie. I went, stupid force of habit. Learn that. Drill it into your head. Otherwise, you'll compromise us both. Don't make me regret giving you this chance, Sophie. Being threatened with someone else's name really loses its emphasis, but I nod anyway. Being threatened with expulsion packs enough of a punch just on its own. These aren't the apprentice dorms. Get changed now before anyone sees you wearing those clothes. Oh, I guess these are kind of boyish clothes, aren't they? Uniforms will be in the wardrobe. I trust you can size it yourself. I'm not sure. Glanced down at my hands. My magic's still feeling weak from earlier. I think I'm still a little exhausted. Of course. But you do know how to do this, yes? Yes, I've done this sort of magic before. Not with any kind of skill, but she doesn't need to know that. Go ahead and change out of that, then I'll help you with the fitting. Alright. I wait, but she doesn't leave. She just stands there watching me with that same sharp look. Finally she blinks. Oh, of course, you're still new. There are some rituals that are better performed without bulky clothes on, but you wouldn't be used to that yet. I suppose I've gotten too lax about that sort of thing in my time. Rituals were... you don't wear clothes? What kind of school is this? I'll turn around and give you some privacy. Doesn't feel like privacy, but it doesn't really feel like my body either, which makes it easier to strip down. Try not to let on just how fascinated I am with it, really. I didn't know skin could be this silky. I pull out the uniform and underwear, putting it on first alongside some thin panties with a suspicious amount of lace. I feel like I'm dressing up for a play or something. A play titled Shaun's Life, A Series of Spectacular Failures. I shift awkwardly in my new underwear, inspecting it. It's like something out of a magazine. Now that I look at those kinds of magazines or anything. Alright. Magi Shira spins around to face me, her gaze dragging up and down my body. Isn't this a little fast? And she is my teacher. Ah, that looks acceptable. Here. Without warning, she brings her hands under my chest, causing my face to flush red. I'll fit it so it will hug a bit better in the front. Her hands push upward on my chest and she hums like she's knitting and not feeling up one of her students. It's a little different in the style of, well, the way that the characters act, but in the first one, but, you know, and the hem of the skirt, that should follow the curve of your hip like so. Her fingers trail down my inner thigh. As she does so, the uniform recedes and bends to her magic. A moment later, I'm dressed again, standing there with my new uniform, the fabric tugging tight over my chest and the skirt short enough to be uncomfortable. How does that feel? Like all I need to now is a pull and some music. Aha! Who's this and why is she in my room? Ah, just in time for first introductions, I see. Charlie, this is a new apprentice of mine, Sophie. Charlie arches an eyebrow at me, looking a little more amused than I'm comfortable with. Sophie, this is the other apprentice I was telling you about. Oh, it didn't actually occur to me before, but I'm going to have to actually live with a girl while pretending to be one. I don't even speak the language. Yes, the feminine language. Good luck, Shaun. Hi. Hi. You shy or something? Don't mind Charlie, she's too upfront for her own good. The girl cracks a mischievous smile, but says nothing. Play nicely, you two. I think you can both help each other in your studies. I'll leave you two to get to know each other. Charlie, make sure Sophie gets her bearings on how the school works. If you have any trouble, come find me. We'll resume our normal studies tomorrow. The one person who knows my situation vanishes. Talk about sink or swim. To my surprise, Charlie thrusts out a hand at me. Nice to meet you. Call me Charlie, no nicknames. Right. How long have you been training with Magi Shira exactly? Maybe a week. Time goes by pretty quickly. She'll come back this afternoon. What for? You'll find out. She grins and then plops down on my bed. So I take it you're not from the capital. Do I have an accent or something? Nah, but you look about as nervous as a rabbit in a wolf's den, and I guess the capital can kinda seem that way. I've seen newbies here before, and they all kind of have that look. That's not exactly the problem, but I guess it's better than coming up with my own excuse. You might as well not worry about it. It's not like you'll have enough time away from the school for it to matter. We're basically stuck here. Did you already have your initiation trial too? Yeah, I mucked that up pretty bad. She laughs and scratches the back of her head. Get louder, hit harder. That was my philosophy. Didn't really work out when she outsmarted me like I was just a toddler, that should be in there, throwing a tantrum. Real embarrassing. At least we get another chance. Yeah, I think Shira's a real softie under that mask. She acts though as a teacher, but beneath that she's pretty compassionate. Not that I'm an expert. So how did you get into magic if you're not from around here? Well, actually, I'm going to save this episode here, and my 40 minutes is up for now. I do have some other stuff to work with. I've been working on fixing up my computer. Hopefully that'll be working soon. I'll have to get a Wi-Fi adapter to plug into it so that I could use it up in my room with some privacy for recording. But yeah, that computer, hopefully I'll be able to use it properly and be able to actually play some good games that are more modern and not have to deal with lag. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next episode.